Hello viewers, welcome back to the channel. And by the video title, you know what this video is about. Today we're going to discuss some things I'm looking forward to seeing in the week 2 of preseason when the Steelers face off against the Bills. We're going to dive into some things that kind of have my eye on the game that comes on tomorrow. I believe the Steelers play at 6 o'clock versus the Bills in Heinz Field too. I know it's called Acrisure, but Heinz Field has got a better ring to it, so I'm going to keep calling it Heinz Field. So Heinz Field, so we're going to see some pretty good showing a little bit. You know, it's preseason, so the games might not be exciting. I wasn't doing a live watch party on my my other channel, on my main channel, my self-channel, solo channel, the Arsenal D.B. But then again, I was thinking and looking at some of my old preseason live watch parties from last season. Too boring, too boring. If I do, it might just be for the first half, and then I might leave and then just do a review after on this channel and some other stuff. But we have to wait and see what happens. Okay, starting off first, of course, the secondary is the main thing I'm looking at. Last week, the secondary struggled in tackling a little bit. We see the Texans get a big touchdown, of course. See Stroud through a 48-yard strike. I believe it was Tank Dell, just break the tackles and get through and get to the end zone. The secondary, of course, with Corey Trice is nice. And also seeing, of course, you know, JPJ, he didn't really play. I don't know if he's going to play this game or not, but he didn't play last game. I think he most likely might step in maybe this game. He really don't have to play too much, but Corey Trice is going to be out there. We might see a little bit of Dante Jackson maybe, since he come off a little injury. He was limited yesterday in the joint practice, so he might not play this game right here. But I want to see a lot from Benny Bishop Jr. They've been raving about him a lot. He's been making plays in training camp, making plays, of course, in the joint practice as well. And also Graylin Arnold. Those are two guys that's kind of like gunning for that slot cornerback spot. Now we know Corey Trice can play in the slot as well. He's shown versatility, you know, last year in training camp before the injury happened, and then this past training camp right now is going on. He showed a lot of versatility and being able to play inside, being able to play on the outside, and being able to play also maybe as a safety as well, because he has that ability to do so. He has the size too as well. He can guard the tight ends, he can guard the receivers, have the quickness and all that type of stuff to play physical man-to-man defense, what the Steelers really need in this type of defense that we have. So I think Benny Bishop Jr. and Graylin Arnold could see themselves, you know, battling out for that cornerback, slot cornerback spot in the lineup. We should see a lot of that in this game and our next preseason game as well next week. But I think this game we'll kind of see a focus point on the secondary. Can they merge together and play well and communicate well? That's the main thing, communication. Because we've seen some plays where guys are just open in certain spots. Now the second half, the Steelers did tighten up, of course. Still fall short to the Texans, of course, but in the first half, they kind of left a lot of guys open. It was a lot of miscommunication, a lot of pointing fingers and stuff instead of just, hey, locking in, communicating. You're in this spot, he in this spot, and let's get it done. So the main thing I'm watching for mostly in the second preseason game is the chemistry of the secondary. The next thing I'm watching, of course, is all the receivers not named George Pickens. Looking at Van Jefferson, he did pretty good last week. In preseason, had a big time crosser route reception that he had. He's been making some big plays in joint practice, in training camp. He's been a very versatile piece and a very reliant piece as well, because you know he can do a lot of different things at his speed. His best season came with the Rams, of course, where he put up 800 plus receiving yards and 50 catches. I think that was like 2021, if I'm not mistaken. And then also, of course, with the Falcons last year, he looked pretty solid. And now he's coming back this year to play with Arthur Smith, or underneath Arthur Smith again in the offense. And we're going to see how he looks. He could emerge to be receiver too. He's 28 years old. He showed a lot of consistency. He also been reliable target for both quarterbacks, not just for Justin Fields, but for Russell Wilson as well. It seemed like both of those guys have good chemistry with them. Type of receiver they find, those deep passes, and putting the ball in the right spot. Just having that communication where you ain't really got to say a word. You can just give a guy a look and just go, and they can, you know, be like linked and in sync automatically. So he's been showing that a little bit. So I think he should have an opportunity. I don't know if Russell Wilson going to play. He did yesterday, did a few things like catching the ball on the sidelines. They really played the joint practice, so I doubt he played tomorrow, but maybe next week we'll see him play. But I'm still waiting to see Russell Wilson out there. I want to see how he look. Calvin Austin will definitely be playing most likely, so we should see more Calvin Austin. Remember last preseason game at third quarter, he kind of took over a little bit, got a little better, had some big catches, was able to control his body a lot more too as well, and just make some good things. You know, like of course the receivers can run the routes, of course, and get open, but it's all about timing. If you run a route too fast sometimes, you can you kind of give the defender a chance to get back into play. You run the route too slow, and then sometimes you might not be there when the quarterback is ready to give the ball to you. So you got to be all in sync with the quarterback and timing like that. So, okay, I'm doing a comeback route. I don't want to beat the guy off the line of scrimmage on the comeback route. I'm going to stay with them, and then when I get to the breaking point, I'm going to break off then. So when the quarterback strikes, then I'm open right there. So it's all about timing. I think Calvin Austin has worked on that a little bit, as you see this year, because last year he kind of struggled with that a little bit with some of the timing. Maybe because of the quarterback play, maybe because the offensive coordinator we had last year as well, that kind of played a little bit of that. But I think overall, if Calvin Austin can get consistent with his route running and be a deep threat that can take the top off the defense and open up a lot for us, he's going to be a nice piece for our team, him and Van Jefferson. I think Roman Wilson, like I mentioned earlier in this video, Roman Wilson is going to be a pretty good guy, but we start waiting to see when he gets fully healthy to get back on the field. Another thing I want to see too as well, of course, is Zach Frazier. He's going to be the starting center, getting first team reps. He got that yesterday in a joint practice, so hopefully it continues up. He looked pretty good last preseason game as well, getting a big time push, big time force. Because we haven't seen that really in a while, because remember Mason Cole was on our team and he was struggling very hard. He couldn't get any push. Communications was off. He was throwing the ball to the ground over the head of the quarterback, but we're going to see Zach Frazier bring a different element. We've seen he looked pretty good yesterday in the joint practice, looked good to training camp, looked good in OTAs before training camp as well, and he just looked good overall like that to be a bona fide starter week 1. So hopefully he is the starter week 1, and hopefully this game right here we see more of that improvement week after week we've been seeing from him. Another player, of course, is Dajon Edwards, the running back. Of course, Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren are 2 guys, but Dajon Edwards did show a little bit in preseason. The explosiveness he had, he was able to put the ball, get the ball and just go crazy a little bit like that. I think he had 28 rushing yards on 3 carries, and he also had a touchdown as well, had some power to him as well. The Steelers might keep him around. Maybe he could be a guy who can be the kick return guy, and maybe as a third running back, he might not get a lot of touches, of course, because Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris, but he could get implemented a little bit in there, like, certain spots, maybe some screen passes, special design little plays to add him in there. One thing about Arthur Smith, he is very good. It's kind of like, you guys ever watch the anime My Hero Academia. How they utilize and they show a lot of the characters. And they use all the characters, like in each episode they have like different characters. Sometimes they focus a little too much on some other characters, but they focus on a lot of the characters around the show. That's kind of what Arthur Smith does. He focuses on a lot of the different players on your team, but sometimes it can burn him a little bit because sometimes he focuses a little bit too much on side pieces instead of focusing on the main guys like he did normally with the Falcons when he had Kyle Pitts had 1,000 yards, and he started focusing on the guys around him and stuff instead of still implementing them in there, but also sprinkling the other guys in there here and there. So like kind of like making a perfect story. Like I'm gonna focus the story on these 2 characters. But I'm gonna add these other characters as well in there, sprinkle them in throughout the offense. But I'm gonna make sure these main guys get the ball. I'm gonna make sure George Pickens get the ball. I'm gonna make sure Washington, and Najee Harris get the ball. Jaylen Warren get the ball. Pat Freiermuth. These pieces get the ball right here, the top guys on the offense. And I'm gonna sprinkle in Van Jefferson here and there, Calvin Austin here and there, Darnell Washington here and there, Connor Hayward, Corey Patterson. Add those guys here and there to kind of improve the offense, to create like a shock or a surprise for opposing defenses. So that's kind of the formula that he should run with. He did that with the Titans pretty well. He made sure Derrick Henry got the ball a lot, and A.J. Brown. Derrick Henry had his best seasons, his 2 best years ever in his career with Arthur Smith as the offensive coordinator. So hopefully we see some kind of like a reoccurring thing of that when he's the offensive coordinator for the Steelers. So we have to wait and see what happens. But Dajon Edwards is a guy I have on my list who I think going to be spectacular. I think he'll have a nice game against the Bills too as well. He should be utilized a lot more. Quarterbacks, of course. The last thing on here, of course, Russell Wilson is going to be playing. It's set to play in this game against the Bills, so we should see Russell Wilson go out there and do some pretty good things. He has to have a great deep ball, still very accurate quarterback. Justin Fields to get some opportunity as well. I know the QB battle and the media is still like, oh, who's going to start? Is it Russell Wilson? Is it Justin Fields? But we kind of already know Russell Wilson is going to be the starter. He's the veteran. He knows what it takes and what needs to be done to help you win. The Steelers are trying to build a team right now. I don't know if the team right now is built for win a Super Bowl. Of course, we want to win a Super Bowl, of course. But I don't know if it's built for a Super Bowl. But I think if they keep just striving, keep getting better and better, and if Russell Wilson can just be, like I mentioned before, on this channel, I did that little video about the offense. Be Clark Kent. You maybe can be Superman occasionally, but we need you to be Clark Kent most of the time, and everything else will take care of itself. Don't try to say the day too many times. That's kind of what Justin Fields and Russell Wilson kind of got in trouble a lot of times, like the past few years. They hold the ball too long, trying to make it a lot out of nothing. Sometimes it's better just to take the check down. You might say, I'm trying to make this crazy play and make something amazing happen, and you throw an interception or something happen, a turnover happen. It's better sometimes to take the 5-yard check down. Punting the ball is not too bad all the time. Like that, punt the ball, live to fight another day. Like that, so hopefully they learn to get more consistent in that aspect of like being smart and just taking what the defense gives them and chipping away. Tom Brady used to do it all the time. When they couldn't get anything down the field, take the defense give you. Check downs. Check he had all the different running backs he had, the Danny Woodheads, the Stephen Ridleys, and all type of guys like that. Check downs. And eventually you have opportunity, you take your shot down the field and make a play. So hopefully learn that. We know Russell Wilson's a future Hall of Famer, of course, like that. But throughout his career, he always struggled with that, holding the ball too long, like that, trying to cook too much. Like I say, let Russ cook, trying to do too much cooking. Sometimes take the food off the skillet. You know, you overcooked. It's already done. Take the food off the skillet and live to fight another day. So we're gonna see if Russell Wilson, how he looks out there, like playing in a real game action with the Steelers against the Bills in preseason. Most likely gonna be against some of the Bills' first teams as well. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what happens. But these are the main things I have on the list, things I want to see in this coming preseason game in week 2. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think, and some games, some players that you were looking forward to, and some things you want to see. And I'll see you guys next time, which will probably be tomorrow, right after the game. Well, maybe. I'm trying to see, like, I'm not gonna do anything before the game like that, but definitely right after the game like that. Right after, then maybe the next day I might have something. I might not have something like that. I might just come back on Monday. But be on the lookout for that, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.